Hello, welcome to Lion English Academy. My name is Dom. It's a pleasure to speak with you today, and thank you for joining this lesson, this class. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a fantastic week and a fantastic year. And I look forward to speaking with you in person. I get to actually converse with you, actually get to talk with you. Um, Today, I think we're going to look over an article, something that I can read to you. We can go over some vocabulary. I can discuss some grammar with you and maybe give you an example, some examples of some questions and some answers, and a little bit of a demo of maybe how a class could go. Um, Using articles, going over articles, reading and answering questions. This is a very, very popular way, a very way that I often have or conduct classes. Many of my students find this to be very useful for them. They get a good mixture of question and answer. They get to practice their reading and they get to get corrections from me with their pronunciation, with their articulation. Also, they get to go over vocabulary, which is very useful. You can practice putting them in sentences. They get to see the definitions and they're able to increase their vocabulary. Most notably, they're able to increase their active vocabulary because they look at the words, they read them, get the definitions, they can make some sentences, and then immediately after, they're able to read those same words in an article, and sometimes use them in the answers that they'd give after I ask a few questions after we finish reading that article. But this is just one way. Let's hop in here. I'm going to share the screen here. Just one moment, please. Here we go. Okay, here we are on a site called Engoo. This is one of many English article sites that I commonly use. Other ones include VOA and Breaking News English. But Engoo is a very, very popular one among students. And I think it's very useful. I think it's well presented. The choice for today, the topic here, we see the title here, is going to be 40% of young adults may have a smartphone addiction, okay? All right, so 40% of young adults may have a smartphone addiction. All right, so this means that out of 100%, out of all adults, 40%, which is a high percentage, almost half of all adults are addicted to their smartphones, meaning that they may use their smartphones in a way that is unhealthy. They may overuse their smartphones. They may have an unhealthy relationship in terms of how much and how often they use their smartphone or how much time they spend with them, okay? So here I'd like to start with going over the vocabulary that I mentioned before. Okay, I'm going to read these and then maybe give a few examples. There's an example. There are examples of each vocabulary word on the page, but I'll try to make some more. Okay, so our first vocabulary word is going to be sign. Sign. Okay, and sign, a fact, event, etc., that shows that something is present, true, etc. Okay, example sentence here is, red eyes are a sign of lack of sleep. Okay, red eyes are a sign of lack of sleep. Okay, so a sign of something. So you think about a sign, like if you hold up a sign, it says, hey, my name is Dom, or you see a sign when you're driving that says stop, okay? In this way, we're saying that a sign indicates something. A sign shows something. Okay, hear me. Pause this. Let me get my chat box up here. There we go. So I can be typing here. Okay, so a sign indicates something, or a sign shows something. Okay, so example, red eyes are a sign of lack of sleep. Okay, we could say yawning. Yawning is a sign that someone may be sleepy. Could also be a lack of sleep. Okay, or I could say maybe we could say something like happiness. Maybe is a sign that someone is enjoying themselves. Okay, so if you see a friend who is happy, you can think, oh, well, this indicates that he or she is enjoying themselves. If you see a friend that is happy, you can take this as a sign that they are enjoying themselves. Okay. The next one is addiction. Addiction. Okay, so if addiction, someone has an addiction, or this is an addiction. So Susan has an addiction to cigarettes, or Robert is addicted to cigarettes. So you have an addiction, he or she has an addiction, this is an addiction, or he or she is addicted. So I'll type this as well. He is addicted to something, cigarettes, video games. She has an addiction. We get in the sentence there. Simply here is a point. She has an addiction. She is addicted to her cell phone, or she has an alcohol addiction. Okay, so she is addicted to alcohol. So she has an alcohol addiction, or she is addicted to alcohol. Okay, those two words can be a little bit confusing, and I want to show the difference in their grammatical usage. Okay, so addiction is a noun. All right, addiction is the state of being unable to stop doing or using something. Addiction is the state of being unable to stop doing or using something. Our example sentence here is, smoking is an addiction that can lead to cancer. Okay, so smoking cigarettes is an addiction. Someone begins to smoke, and because of the chemicals inside of that cigarette, they become, and I'm gonna put here, they become hooked. So if you are addicted to something, they say that you become hooked. And I'm gonna type that here. We say, she is addicted to cigarettes. She is hooked to cigarettes. We also say hooked to or hooked on. She is hooked on cigarettes. Okay, we think about hook, like if you go fishing, you try to catch a fish, the hook gets hooked into the fish's mouth, and then you pull it in. So hook is a hook, just like this finger here. Okay, so you think addiction, it grabs you. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop doing something. So she is addicted to her cell phone. She is hooked to her cell phone. He is addicted to video games. He is hooked on video games. Okay, so here, hooked, we often use in place of addicted or addiction, or alongside or with addicted or addiction. Okay. Our next vocabulary word is judge. Judge. Okay, this is a verb. Judge, to form an opinion about a person or thing. Judge, to form an opinion about a person or thing. Okay, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay, so judge, maybe I have a cup of tea here, and you may say, oh, this is a very nice cup. This is a nice mug. Okay, we're going to call it a mug because it has a handle right here and suited for something like coffee or tea. You can put any drink in here, but a mug is a type of cup. It's going to have this handle right here. Okay, and mugs are usually used for coffee or tea, hot drinks or hot beverages. All right, so with judging this, one person may say, I like this mug. It's a very nice mug. So they have judged the mug. They have given their opinion. Okay. Another person may say, I think this mug, I think it's bad. I don't like this mug. I think it's ugly. I think it sucks. And they have judged this mug. They have given their opinion. Okay. So you may judge me. Dominic is a handsome man. You've given your opinion about me. You've judged me. Someone else may say, Dominic he's kind of skinny. He's a weird looking guy. So this person has given their opinion. They've judged me. Okay. So we, all of the time, we are judging things. And it doesn't just have to be visual. You judge things with your ears, with your nose, with your mouth. When you taste something, you bite something. I drink this tea. That's good tea. I've judged it. I now have an opinion about this tea. I think it's good. So I've judged this tea. You may hear my voice and say, he has a lovely voice. You've judged it. You've given an opinion. Okay. So I'm going to make some example sentences here. Well, first, let me read this extra one. He's trying to judge the situation. Okay. He's looking at the situation. I'm going to type here as well. So if you're judging something, you are analyzing it. You are assessing it. Okay. So you're judging something. You're looking at it. You're listening to it. You are observing it. You're observing it in order to form an opinion, typo, opinion of or about it. Okay, I put a little backslash there. I often put that to show that we can choose one of two words. So I typed here, observing it in order to form an opinion of it, or observing it in order to form an opinion about it. Okay, so you're analyzing, assessing it. Okay, so we can say the little boy was trying to judge his new toy. He's looking at it, trying to figure out what he thought about it. Okay, the woman judged her friend's dress harshly. The woman judged her friend's dress harshly. So the woman saw her friend's dress and she thought, oh no, this is a hideous dress. This is terrible. So she had a harsh judgment, harsh being rough or strong, or could be uncomfortable, could be abrasive, almost like sandpaper. It's harsh. Oh man, those are harsh words. You're fat, you're silly. Those are harsh words. Okay. Not get too far off into the vocabulary. Sometimes I can begin adding a bunch of words in here. Okay, let's look at our next vocabulary word. Next one is quality. Quality. Okay, so the Q is kind of a KW sound. Quality. Quality is a noun, means how good or bad something is, usually compared to other things. Quality. How good or bad something is, usually compared to other things. Okay, so quality, it's not the same thing as judge, but they often come together. If you judge something, you judge it based on its quality. I've tasted this tea. I judge it. It's good. I think that this is a high quality tea. The example sentence here on the page, this wine is of a very high quality. Okay, so someone has judged this wine and their opinion about it is that it is of a very high quality. So judge and quality, we judge something and then we decide its quality. Okay. Another example could be, maybe this is a good quality fabric. Okay, fabric being like a cloth. You see, my shirt is fabric, it's cloth. My bed behind me, the blanket, this curtain here, that curtain there, fabric, going to be cloth, this material. Okay, so this is good quality fabric, or this is high quality. So with quality, this is good quality, this is high quality, this is low quality, this is bad quality, this is poor quality. Okay, so you're going to put the adjective before quality to say in this way. So we could say this is good or high quality. All right. This is, we can also say of. This is of good or high quality. Okay, and if we think about, I'm going to give some bad examples again. Maybe I'm going to put it into a full sentence here. Okay, maybe the meeting was low or bad or poor quality. We got nothing accomplished. Okay, so the meeting was low quality, the meeting was bad quality, the meeting was poor quality, or the meeting was of low quality. We got nothing accomplished. And I can put these two sentences together. The meeting was of low quality because we got nothing accomplished. We were supposed to meet discuss things, figure things out. And for whatever reason, the meeting did not go well. Maybe there was miscommunication, maybe people were missing. And in the end, we judged the meeting and we said, man, this was a bad meeting. This was a low quality meeting. This was a poor quality meeting. We got nothing done. Okay, and so accomplished is to do something, to complete something successfully. So I have accomplished something. I have done it. I have completed it successfully or correctly. Okay, so the meeting, they got nothing done. They got nothing accomplished. Okay. Our final one here is going to be discourage. Discourage. Okay. Discourage is a verb. Discourage is to attempt to stop someone from doing something. Discourage is to attempt to stop someone from doing something. And I'm going to pause here because it's going to be more than just someone. Okay, so you can discourage a person. The example sentence here, she tried to discourage him from watching more television. It doesn't have to be just a person. It can also be a creature like an animal. Okay, so your dog is barking at someone. Your dog is barking at the neighbor being the person that lives near you or next to you. Your neighbor, your next door neighbor is walking down the street and your dog sees him. Bark, 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 ruff, 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 starts barking at him. Okay, you want to discourage your dog. So you say, hey, don't bark at the neighbor. Shush. Okay, so you can discourage a person or an animal or creature. Okay, so not just someone. All right, so she tried to discourage him from watching more television. Okay, so he watched TV. In her opinion, she judged the situation, said, okay, that's too much TV, that's enough TV, and she tried to discourage him from watching more TV. Discourage can be many ways. Discourage could be she stood in front of the TV, she tried to block the TV, she didn't want him to see it. Maybe she went and unplugged the TV. Maybe discourage can be very direct. She says, hey, Frank, I think you're watching a lot of TV lately. You've been watching a lot of TV lately. And I think that you should watch less TV. Okay. I think it's time to turn the TV off now and do something else. Okay. So she tried to discourage him. So if you try to discourage someone or something, you can verbally, orally tell them in many ways that something that gets them to understand, I want you to do this. I want you to stop doing this. I want you to reduce the amount that you're doing this. So, hey, that's enough TV for today. Let's turn it off. Or, hey, let's try to limit our amount of TV from now on, something. Or it could be an action where it's not spoken. And again, she goes and covers Frank's eyes, her husband's eyes. She goes and a little bit excessive. Maybe she goes and smashes the TV. That is a way to discourage him because now TV doesn't work. So that would maybe be, she stops him from watching TV. Maybe it's a little bit more than discourage. Okay. All right. So let me make some more examples here. Maybe I can say, my wife discourages me from working on dirty things while wearing my good pants. Okay. My wife discourages me from working on dirty things while wearing my good pants. Okay. So maybe I go work on the house or I work on a car. It's going to get me very dirty. Okay. And there have been many times where I have started to work on something that's very dirty while wearing my good pants, the pants that I should not get dirty. These are my good pants. I don't want to get these dirty. And because of that, now I have stains on my pants. Here, I can give you a visual example very clearly. I think it's good to have some visual examples, okay? I thought about this because this is real life. Here are my pants. These used to be my good pants, and now you see they have stuff all on them, okay? I was doing something dirty. I was working on something dirty in my good pants. And so now my wife says, you should not do this anymore. You need to stop this. She verbally told me, she tried to discourage me, and she also bought me new pants. Okay, so she tries to discourage me. She tries to stop me from doing this. Okay. I hope that these explanations were clear. If you see this and have any questions, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but please feel free to reach out to me and I can be happy to give you some more examples or some more in-depth explanation of these words. Okay. All right, now we're going to jump into our article here. It's going to contain these words. It's going to have these in here. You're going to see how they're used. I'm going to slow it down a little bit to read this. Maybe I've picked up the pace just a little bit. Okay, so the article Okay, the title is 40% of young adults may have a smartphone addiction. Nearly 40% of students at King's College London have shown signs of smartphone addiction, a new study has found. Researchers looked at 1,043 students aged 18 to 30. Students were judged to be addicted if they couldn't control how long they spent on their phones, felt stressed when they couldn't access their phones, or ignored more important things around them because they were on their phones. Okay. The study also found that students with high levels of smartphone use had poor sleep quality. And students who used their phones after 1 a.m. were most likely to be addicted, 3 times more likely than students who put their smartphones away before 1 a.m., in fact. The authors wrote that previous research on smartphone use among young people has shown similar rates of addiction. Other studies have also found that using smartphones too much can make it harder to fall asleep. People who use their phones too much also get fewer hours of sleep and can feel more tired during the day. Speaking to CNN, Dr. Vyacheslav Polotsky of Johns Hopkins University said that people should avoid looking at screens in bed and shouldn't look at them at least 1 hour before bedtime. To fight smartphone addiction, experts suggest turning off your phone at certain times of day, such as during meals. Some people even remove social media apps like Facebook, Twitter, or WeChat from their phones and check them on their laptops instead. Another option, experts say, is to change your smartphone colors to grayscale. Compared to bright colors, gray feels boring and may discourage you from picking up your phone so often. Okay. So here we see our vocabulary words in use, show signs of smartphone addiction, show signs that they are addicted to their smartphones. Okay. Here we see judged, students were judged, they were assessed and analyzed and observed, and the opinion was formed that they were addicted, okay, based on these things, that they couldn't control themselves. Okay, let's see here. Here we see smartphone use had poor sleep quality. So the quality, the goodness, the wellness, or the poorness of their sleep. Okay, in this example, it was bad sleep quality of a low quality. It was poor quality. Okay, again, we here see the addicted, not the vocabulary is addiction, but again, they are tied together. Okay. Similar rates of addiction. Here we go. Okay, and here we go. We see a discouraged. So gray feels boring and may discourage you from picking up your phone so often. Okay, it is used in an attempt to try to get you to stop doing this, to stop picking up your phone so often. Okay, so here we have some discussion questions. Now here, I think this site is useful because it provides us with these questions here. But I often like to go through and kind of branch off from these questions as much as possible. So in asking a question, once a student gives an answer, I try to follow along with that, try to trace that down and get some more insight from them. But here, it's just me this time. So I'll kind of stick with these questions and I'll give my answers, okay? So after watching this, please attempt to answer these questions, give your answers, record yourself, you know? And if you're able to reach me, let me know your answers. I'd be happy to listen to them, respond to you, and maybe we can start a dialogue about this particular subject, this topic. I think it's very interesting. I think it's very, very pertinent. It's very important. Okay, so exercise 3, question 1, what are your thoughts on the findings of this study? Okay, so what do you think about this? For me, my thoughts on the findings of this study are that it is very understandable. I believe this to be very easy to see in real life. I have experienced this personally. I have gone through and have deleted my social media applications a few years ago. I've stopped using social media. I have struggled before with using my cell phone at poor times, bad times, late at night, just before going to bed. And I have experienced poorer sleep quality as a result. I found it difficult to go to sleep. I found that I would toss and turn, meaning that I'd lay in bed, a bed behind me, and I would roll, I would toss, and I would turn. Basically, I would not stay still, and I found it difficult to fall asleep. I could not fall asleep easily. So my sleep quality was poor. As well, I agree that removing the social media applications can help, because that's the main thing that people are looking for. You're either messaging a friend or answering the phone, which I think most people, of course we do, but the main thing we're doing is looking at social media, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, those things. We're trying to see what's happening. We're trying to get some news about the world. I never thought about the grayscale thing. I think that's a great idea. You know, I like vibrant colors. I think colors are fantastic. But if something is dull and gray and drab, then you're not so interested in looking at it. I'd much rather look at this colorful mug than I would to look at this keyboard. Though I like this keyboard, you know, because I use it. But I mean, it's not really something that I enjoy looking at. I don't come in the room and say, man, you know, I'm gonna look at this keyboard. But as I'm drinking my tea, I do often think, man, you know, this is just 3 colors here, but I like these, you know. I like this mug. It's a very nice mug. It's very big, and I can put lots of tea inside. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, and I think this plagues many people. This plagues many people. I've seen many people that have these same difficulties in varying levels, varying degrees. Some very, very high level, some not so high. Okay. Number 2, do you know anyone who you'd say is addicted to their smartphone? Yeah, I would. I used to be addicted to my smartphone, though now I'd say I've broken this addiction. Um, maybe my little sister could be addicted to her smartphone. Not severely, but I think it's addicted enough. I think that she meets many of these parameters. I think she uses it a lot. And maybe that's not a fair assessment. Maybe that's an improper judgment, you know. Lots of my friends are addicted to their smartphones. You know, whenever we hang out, we sit down, we talk for a few moments, and then it gets quiet. And then oftentimes when I'm talking, I kind of look around. I look at one friend to another friend. Maybe I look out the window. But when I look back, what happens is the quiet is caused by everyone having whipped out their smartphones, and everybody's looking down now, you know. And I think that's pretty bothersome. I think that's a telltale sign. I'm gonna type that word. A telltale sign, meaning an obvious sign, meaning that this is a sign. It's a sign. There's a vocabulary word here. I didn't even think about that. It's a sign. It indicates or shows that they are addicted. So it's a telltale sign that they are addicted to their smartphones. Let me type that down. So it is a telltale sign that they are addicted to their smartphone. So my chat box is going off my screen here. I'm glad I checked because there's a typo. Okay. I think my wife may be addicted to her smartphone. She uses it a lot. Yeah, she uses it a lot before bed and a lot throughout the day. And I think this is increasing. I think the number of people that you can see that are addicted to their smartphones, I think this number is increasing. It is rising. Okay. Number 3, do you often use your phone in bed? The answer is no. The most usage I think my smartphone gets in bed is setting my alarm and then turning my alarm off. So when I lay down in bed, I double check my alarm. I check to make sure that my volume is turned all the way down before setting it on my nightstand. And then in the morning when my alarm goes off, I set a few alarms. Usually I wake up before the alarms, but I kind of lay in the bed and hug my wife and, you know, just think about my day before getting up. But I have the alarm set just to make sure I get up on time and maybe to ensure that I don't fall back asleep and then miss my classes, miss my appointments. So laying in the bed, checking my alarms, making sure they're set, turn the volume down, turn the brightness down, slap it on a nightstand. Alarm goes off, wakes up, turn the alarm off, lay it back down, maybe lay down for another 5-10 minutes for the second alarm to go off if I have not gotten up, to let me know, hey, now it's time to get up for real now. Okay. I used to use it often in bed, but I do not do that anymore, which I think is good. Number 4, have you ever thought about changing the colors on your smartphone to grayscale? Why or why not? Excuse me. Throat was a bit dry. I have never thought about this for the purpose of increasing my sleep quality or decreasing any form of addiction to my phone. I've never thought about this for the purpose of discouraging myself from using my phone. I have turned my phone to grayscale, but this was only a byproduct. Okay, this only happened because my phone battery was low. I knew it would be a while before I got a chance to actually plug it in to recharge my phone. And so I turned my phone to power saving mode. In this mode, it turns off the color and it makes everything gray with simple icons. So like your Google icon, YouTube icon, messaging icon, it looks very vibrant, colorful, and bubbly at first. Grayscale makes them very plain, very gray, and some even black and white. And so I have done this, not directly, indirectly. This may be only because I'm reading this now, but if I recall, I remember not looking at my phone much during that time. But again, for the fact of science, one reason may have been the fact that I knew my phone battery was low and I wanted to reduce my amount of usage at that time as not to decrease it further, so that I did not run the battery down further, so that I did not kill the phone. Perhaps some of that was because I looked at the phone and thought, it's very gray and bland now. I don't want to look at this. So I don't really know. Maybe I'll try it one day, specifically just for putting on grayscale, and I'll see. Maybe I'll conduct a little experiment. And if I do so, I'll be sure to record it and let you guys know how that goes. Okay. I'm very interested to hear or read to see if anyone else has done this before. I'm very used to having someone in the class when I read this. So I'm used to having insight from somebody else's point of view. So I look forward to hearing someone's perspective on these questions. I think we're getting a little long on time here. My apologies. All right, number 5. I think we may wrap up with number 5. Number 5, in your opinion, what are some of the best ways to fight smartphone addiction? Okay, this is a good question. I think that this article presented some good suggestions, some good ways or methods that we could use to fight smartphone addiction, or to reduce or discourage smartphone addiction, to break smartphone addiction. Okay, so if you have a habit or an addiction to something, if you want to stop it, we say we're going to break that habit, we're going to break that addiction. Let me type this down here. So we break the habit, or we break the addiction. Okay. I think that with any habit or any addiction, a good way to break it is to replace it. So maybe it's very difficult to simply just grab something and snatch it out, to just quit cold turkey. Let me type that one down as well. So if you quit cold turkey, this means that you don't have any sort of slow, gradual stopping where you don't start from, I use it this much, and I'm starting to use my smartphone less and less and less to the point until now I'm no longer addicted. So quit cold turkey. If you're smoking cigarettes or using your smartphone, you don't have a gradual decrease into a more comfortable spot. You just stop it. You just rip it out. So I'm smoking cigarettes one day, I quit cold turkey, I just stop immediately. Same thing with smartphone. I'm using my smartphone, social media, I quit cold turkey, I just stop immediately. Just complete cutoff right there. So I think grayscale is a good idea. I think the more I think about this, the more I think this would be useful. Deleting smartphone, social media applications, I think it's a great idea. Setting timers. Maybe you can download an application that sets a timer or stops you from using certain applications during certain time periods. So you set a timer, set something, or better yet, have an application that does not allow you to set the time, that just stops it from a certain time to a certain time. Because if you can set the time, then you can go in and change the time And maybe some people will do that. But if the application forcibly stops you from using it at that time, if you don't have control over when you are not allowed to use those applications, then that could be useful. But the biggest thing, like I mentioned before, sorry for jumping off that tangent so quickly, is replacing that activity. See, so when you put your smartphone down, have something to replace it. Pick up a book, do some exercise, go outside. So find another habit, something that is positive that can replace the time spent or the usage of the smartphone. Okay, so if I stop using my smartphone, I'm trying to break my habit, trying to break my addiction. During that time, I go outside and play. I go outside and ride my bike, play with my wife and son. I do some push-ups, I do some exercise. I read a book. I do some coloring or drawing or do some painting. Maybe on my computer, I watch an educational video and maybe write some responses or answers to it as to make it so that I'm actually really truly engaged with it and not just simply watching a video from YouTube on a bigger screen, you know, because that could be a cheat. To leave your phone in another room. This may sound impossible depending on where you live and how you live, but leave your phone at home. You know, if you don't need it, if you're going for a short walk, leave it somewhere else. Turn it off, turn on airplane mode. I think there are many, many, many ways to find. I think everybody's situation would be a little bit different, but I think there's a slew, there's a multitude, there's a myriad. There are several ways, okay, to do this. And the words I just use, I'm gonna type them: myriad, slew, multitudes. I'm over time here, so I don't want to get too far into this, but all three of these are describing that there are several, there are numerous, there are very, very many, there are multiple types, multiple varieties of ways in which you can break this habit, you could break this addiction. Okay. All right, so here I'm sure I'm pretty far over time. I think this is supposed to be just a 30-minute thing. These are good questions here, and I'll read them through, and just so whoever's watching this, you guys can consider this and show them so you can see them. So I'm sorry, my phone is in the way. I'm using it as a camera. Using my phone as a camera and talking about smartphone addiction. All right, so our first one here for discussion: when did you get your first smartphone? Okay, what was the first smartphone you got, and when did you get it? Okay, how old were you? What year was it? Number two, how long do you think you'd be able to go without using your smartphone? How many hours? How many minutes? How many days or weeks do you think that you would be able to go or live or function before you felt the need, the drive, or the desire to pick that phone up again and begin using it? How long could you last without using your smartphone? Okay, number three, what social media sites do you use the most? Have you ever thought about deleting any of them? You know, are you a Twitter tweeter? Are you a Snapchatter? Are you an Instagram poster? Have you thought about signing off, deleting, closing, pausing any of these accounts? Do you use them for business? Do you use them just for leisure? Are they time wasters? You know. Number four, what would you say are the most useful apps on your phone? Which applications are the most practically useful? You know, do you use a map application to navigate, to find your way around the city, a new place? Do you use a health fitness application like a pedometer to track how many steps you have taken, or an exercise guide? Are you making Instagram or Facebook posts for your business? Or so you're using some sort of photo editing application? Okay. Are you using the camera? And number five, the challenge for a human now is to be more interesting than his or her smartphone. Okay, here's a quote. The challenge for a human now is to be more interesting to another human, another person, than his or her smartphone. So it's saying, hang on, I'm not going to tell you yet. This is by Elaine de Botton. Okay, what do you make of this statement? Okay, and I'll answer this one because this could be a little bit confusing. I want to leave off on this note. The challenge for a human now is to be more interesting to another person, another human being than his or her smartphone. So what I understand from this statement is, if my wife and I are sitting together in a room, we both have our smartphones. I want to have a conversation with her. I want to interact with her. I want to speak with her. I want to engage with her. Okay, so the challenge for me now is to compete with her smartphone. It is to make myself more interesting, more engaging, more fun to talk to or interact with or speak to than her smartphone. So I want to be able to get her to put down her smartphone and talk with me, interact with me. I want to be able to defeat or win or be superior or to be of higher quality than her smartphone, so that she thinks, I'd rather talk to this guy than I would to look at my smartphone. So here, what I understand from this quote, the challenge for a human now is to be more interesting to another person than his or her smartphone. When I sit down with my friends, I want to be more interesting than their phone. I want them to think, oh, I can look at this phone later. Let me talk to Dominic. Dominic has some interesting concepts. He has some interesting ideas. I want to engage with this human in this time. And I don't want to look at my phone, but oftentimes it is that someone finds something on their phone a little bit more interesting. They rather scroll than engage with the human being in front of them. So a little challenge here, put your phones down, talk to your friends and your family, see what other interesting things you can find. Okay. Not knocking on phones. They're very useful, very practical. But we have to have a proper balance with them. And I'm getting out of the range of being an English tutor consultant, getting into being a life coach. So my apologies if I have overstepped my bounds, if I've gone beyond what is acceptable or respectable for me to say. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me today. Again, my name is Dominic. You can call me Dom if you like. Thanks for learning with Lion English Academy. I hope to see you back here soon. Take care, be joyous, and be well. Bye-bye.